Hello and welcome to Clay Creators. Today we're working on one of our quick builds, which means that you get to basically experiment a little on colours. We'll give you the shape and the measurements, and at different points you'll be able to change the colours that you use. We're going to be working on the Key Stage 1 version of Toad, looking for something like this. Like I say, you'll be able to change probably his waistcoat and the dots there, basically the colours that change throughout for him. Like I say, Key Stage 1, so we're going to be using our measuring spoons. We'll need our creator cards and tools as well, pots of clay, and if possible an airtight container, just something to keep the clay nice and fresh during the build. Not always essential with a quick build, but again, if you're away from the camera for a little while or away from the video, you may want to keep the clay in there, keep it fresh during the build. Okay, so like I say, we're going to look for something like this. I will give you the measurements and we will work together, and I'll let you know when you can pick and choose what colours you want to use. Okay, so we'll get started. We're going to start by mixing the brown and the flesh colour. So we're going to do our mixers to start off with. We'll keep them fresh out of the way until we need to get onto that. Okay, so like I say, get started on the brown. We are going to use our creator card first. Okay, so we're going to be measuring a couple of balls of yellow clay. Okay, so if we start with our yellow clay, I'm going to be using the 1 centimeter measurement circle. Okay, now remember, when you're using the creator cards to measure, you don't want to flatten the clay down. You want a little ball that when you look from the top, you can still see the outline of the circle. Okay, so number 1 centimeter, and we're going to do that 3 times. So you're going to have 3 yellow balls here, so just see the outline still. We don't need a lot of brown, so there we go. So we've got 3 yellow balls put together. Okay, once you've done that, clay away, lid on, keep it nice and fresh. We are then going to use our blue. We're going to again use our creator card. This time we are going to do just the 1 centimeter ball. Okay, and then finally we're going to do our red. Now we're going to go down to the 0.5, so the smallest one, and this time we're going to do 2 of these 0.5s. So again, very small this time with the red. Just about. Fantastic. Okay, so as you can see the 2 differences in sizes there. We'll get them all together, mix them all together, and we should get a nice brown. Now this will be enough for his feet, okay, or his shoes. Give them a good mix. Now if you aren't quite happy with the colour, you can add a little more red if you want to make it a little bit reddier. So right now I've got a very dull brown, so I'm going to add a touch more red. Okay, so again, we'll give you a rough guide of the sizes. So right now it's a very dull dark brown, so I'm going to add a touch more red, so I'll go with another. You don't want to add too much, so I'm going to go for another 0.5 and just add that in, mix that through, and I'm more happy with that brown. Much better. Okay, so the size for this, for his feet, should I say, will be, there we go, roughly off the 1 centimeter marker, but we're not going to worry about that too much right now. So I've rolled that, I'm happy with the colour, I'm going to place that into my airtight container and keep that nice and fresh for the time being. We'll move on to the flesh colour. Okay, so the skin, so we need this for his head and his arms and his hands. There's also a little bit of his chest as well. Okay, so we're going to start off going on to our spoons now, and we're going to fill up a number 4 spoon with white clay. And again, remember, when you're using your measuring spoons, we want it nice and level across the top. We don't want too much of a bow, and again underneath you don't want it to go too far underneath as well. Nice and level across the top of your spoon. Okay, so I've got number 4 spoon, and we're also going to use another 0.5 off your creator card. So a nice 0.5 ball again, just a smidge more. Okay. Lid on again, clay away. Okay, we're going to get our yellow again. Create cards once more. And this time we're going to go to the 1 centimeter. And we're going to do 2 of the 1 centimeter balls. Okay, and finally the red clay. Now Toad is not too pinky. Okay, so if you add too much red, you're going to get quite a pink. Okay, so we're only going to add a small amount, the 0.5. And if you do it slightly too much, you'll, like I say, you'll get him too pink. So it would be better to make him too light and add a touch more red if need be. Okay, so it's better to be a smaller 0.5 rather than a bigger 0.5. Get them all together, give them a mix through. And again, we should get a very light colour for him. Okay, very happy with that. Again, we're not going to use that right now. Put that into the airtight container. And we're going to start by getting the bottom part of his body. So we're going to work now in stages. We're going to do the bottom part, then we're going to do his chest, his waistcoat and arms, and then move up to the head. Okay, so the bottom part, or his bottom part of the body, is going to be white. And this is going to be measured out using our spoons. And we are going to be filling up a number 3 spoon to start off with. So, number 3. And then onto our creator card, and we are going to be doing a 1 centimeter ball. Okay. Put those two together. Give them a mix and a stretch. Now we are going to shape this now so we can start to be in the right position. Okay, so you want to start off with a nice smooth round ball, so you want to get rid of any lumps and bumps and any lines if possible. I will use my hands to rub it together to get rid of those lines. You may want to use the workstation or your work surface in front of you, okay, but we're aiming for a nice smooth round ball to start off with. Okay, from there we're going to just gently, now we want kind of a flat, at this moment it'll be the bottom, but we're going to turn it over and it will become basically the bit where the tummy meets. So what I'm going to do is gently rotate or spin the clay whilst also kind of gently pushing down. So I'm only gently pushing down, and if you can see now I'm turning to bring it up to the camera, I'm getting a flat top. Okay, so just gently keep doing that. I'm getting a flatter top. I can press down on the top as well a little bit. I'm looking for a dome sort of shape. Okay, so we're looking for something like this at the moment. Okay, so again, once you've turned it over, you may want to use the workstation to kind of flatten it a little bit. So that's the position we're going to be now. So the chest is going to go on here and the feet will go on the bottom. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just while we shape that, I'm going to move that over to my airtight container, and I'm going to bring out the flesh. I'll swap them over. Okay, the measurement for the chest, or the top part of the body, is going to be a number 2 spoon. So we're using our flesh and we're going to fill up number 2 spoon. Okay, the rest of this again away into the airtight container. Okay, and we're just going to shape this. So again, back to that starting position if you can. Stretch it out, roll it, and smooth it out into a nice smooth ball. Okay, so we're going to kind of use the same process as we did before there. So we're going to press down. We want that flat top. Now what's going to happen this time, this bit is going to be then connecting to the flatter part that we did on the bottom. So I'm just going to do the same process, spin it round, flatten it out a little bit. Now ideally, the flatter parts are about the same size, okay? Again, they aren't going to be exact, but the good thing is when we put the waistcoat on, it's going to level it off. So bear with me one moment and I'll explain. So once you've done that, you don't need to flatten the top too much, but you can press down a little bit if you want to. Kind of repeat the process. So at the moment I'm going to leave it flat down. We're going to get the white part out. Okay, so the trick here now is to basically pick the front. So wherever you want to go with the front is, because at the moment we're going to place them on top of one like this. If you can see now, the white is slightly bigger, okay? So ideally what we want is, so if I'm picking this is the front bit closest to you, I want my flesh bit to be right level at the front, okay? So at the front it's going to be nice and close and level, so his belly touches. Now around the outside I can see the side a little bit, so if you're looking from the top you can still see an outline. But we're going to be putting the waistcoat around there, so it's not a problem, but the front is nice and close up across there, okay? So right now you're looking at the front and I'm going to put the waistcoat on at the back and wrap it around to the front, okay? Just while we do that, again I'm going to put this away into the airtight container, leave it stood upright. Okay, so waistcoat can be pretty much any colour you want. Okay, this is one of those bits where you can choose. I'm going to go for the simple blue, nice original blue, okay? Again, it's your choice. If you want to go with a different one, it's absolutely fine. Okay, so I'm going to go with my blue. My waistcoat, the measurement we're going to go with, I'm going to use our spoon and we're going to go a number 1. And then we are also going to do a 1 centimeter measurement off the creator card as well. So number 1 spoon and a number 1 centimeter as well. Oh. Lid on. Oops. Okay, give them a good stretch again, give them a good mold through, get rid of any lines and lumps. Starting position, back to that nice smooth round ball if possible. Now what we're going to do, we're going to roll this out, make it flat, and like I say, then we'll bring the body out and we'll wrap it around, okay? So from that starting position, you want to kind of roll this out into a nice sausage. And we're looking for around about, if you want to use your ruler on here, around about 4 centimeters, okay? Now this is going to change shortly because what we're going to do now, once you've rolled it out to around about 4 centimeters, we're going to press down, okay? We're going to flatten this out. Now it's not going to be as wide as we need right now, okay? So this isn't big enough. We need to stretch it out a little bit. So it's a little bit of work with your hands. You really want to stretch out. Now again, its waistcoat at the end should kind of be like this. So as you wrap it around, you'll get the effect. But again, don't worry too much if you can't get that to start off with. I will use my tool and I'm going to press and stretch. Try and make sure this is nice and even all the way along. Okay, and then at the ends is what I'll show you shortly, what I mean by. So I'm just gently using my tool on my fingers to kind of stretch where we need it to be. Okay, so the shape we've got now is roughly this sort of shape. So at the ends, I've got that. We're going to wrap it around his body, okay? Ideally, the bit at the top is all the way to the brim around the top part of the body. So if we get this out now, remembering where the flat part is against your tummy. So again, waistcoat should wrap around nice and close at the top and around the front. And should look like this once you've wrapped it around. nice and close at the top here if you can, nice and level, and then just covering a little bit of the white, not all the way down. Okay, so we can stretch that up a little bit. Fantastic. So the head will go on the top, but we're going to do the arms quickly now. So again, just pop that back into the airtight container, swap it over for the flesh. Okay, arms are measured out, again using our creator cards. Now again, this is a little bit, these arms are only very small, so that you don't need too much detail, but they may be a little bit tricky. So all we're going to do is use the 0.5 measurement, but it's a little bit bigger than the 0.5, but you don't want it all the way up to the 1. So all we say is a big 0.5, so roll it into a ball, and if it's just a bit bigger than that 0.5, it will be perfect, okay? Now, the thing is that as long as both measurements, because you're going to do 2 arms, are about the same, that's the effect you're looking for, okay? So just slightly bigger than 0.5. And all we're going to do with that, we're going to roll them out. Again, like we did, rolling them into sausages, just very gentle, nice and even all the way along. And this time, all we're looking for, oops, stuck my finger, is around about 1.5 centimeters on, oops, the measuring card. So if I roll this over, 1.5, perfect. So again, 2 little tiny arms, and then all we're going to do is take a tiny pinch on both of these. Again, make sure they're about the same. 2 tiny pinches for hands, and stick them on at one end. Just give them a gentle press against. The rest of your flesh can go away for the time being. Swap that over, bring the body out. And you may want to have his arms just down the side. You may want them kind of up slightly, your choice. So just placing them on at the top of the waistcoat, give them a gentle press. And I'm going to have them coming down slightly in front. Helps it stick. So we now have 2 little arms. Okay. Just while we move on to the next bit, I'm going to put this back into the airtight container. At this point, I'm going to just take the brown clay, so we're going to just measure out his feet quickly. His feet should be around about the 1 centimeter on the card. So if you take this and you want to do, just split this in half, you're probably going to be a bit too big. So again, we're looking for a big 1 centimeter. So like we just did with that 0.5, where it was a big 0.5, big 1 centimeter this time. So if they're about both the same, it shouldn't be a problem. So there we go. So we've got 2. All we're going to do is gently roll them out slightly into slight sausages, and then give them a little press down. So you're now looking at that. Okay, I'm going to get the body to sit on them now. And instead of them both facing perfectly forward, I'm going to turn them slightly so they sit outwards. And again, you'll want to try and get his body sitting in the middle. So I'm just going to turn it to me for the time being. Gently give him a press down. So you're looking at that kind of angle from the bottom, and he should just about be able to stand up. Now you may need to lean him against something whilst he learns to stand up. Again, once the head's on, it will all work out, but we just need to get them on now. So when I put him into the airtight container, I will lean him up against the back of it, if at all possible, just to keep them flat. Okay, oops, take your flesh colour out. We're going to work on the head now. Okay, right, and the head is going to be measured out at a number 3 spoon. So just freshen this up a little bit. You may have just a little extra clay left over. so I've just got a little bit of flesh colour left. So number 3 spoon. If you want to use this during your free play, just put it back into your airtight container whilst we work on the head. Not a lot of work to do on the head. Back to that starting position. It's got a very simple face. It's not a tricky bit. So nice smooth ball again. All we're going to do is give that flattened part once more, like we have done the others. And this time, try not to press down too much on the top. You kind of want a good domey point on this one. Okay, so that flattened bit, the hat, or basically the toadstool part, will sit on the top here. So I'm just going to flatten this slightly now. Okay. Now we're going to turn this around. I want to give him a little smile now, so I know where his face is. So here's a nice smile. Happy little guy. Take my tool, nice and gentle. If you make a mistake, the good thing is right now you could just roll this back into a ball and do it again. Okay. Now we're not going to put his eyes on just yet, but I'm going to let it dry. I say let it dry, leave it as we're working on the head upside down. Okay. So I'm going to swap that over, put that back into the airtight container, and we'll get onto the head. And the head is predominantly white, so again, or the hat, whichever way you want to look at it. Oh, and we are going to fill up, this is our biggest measurement, we're going to fill up our number 5 spoon with white and our number 2 spoon with white. Okay, number 5 and 2. And the rest of your clay away. Number 5 and 2. Give them a stretch together, freshen them up. And again, back to that starting position of a nice, smooth, round ball. Okay. Now, as this clay dries, you'll get the better effect that we want, because it's very hard to get the finish in. So it's good that as it dries, the clay is going to kind of expand and it gives you a better shape. So when I first put this together, this bit on the top was a little bit flat just because of how we're going to shape it in a minute. But as it dries, it loops back up and it gives you the proper effect we're looking for. Okay. Now what we're going to try and do is get it to look as if his head is going into his hat or the cap of his toadstool. So all I'm going to do is gently press down that same motion, that same shape that we were doing before. So this time we do need to press down a little bit more on the top. So I'm just pressing down, just gentle. So I'm getting a nice flatter part at the bottom. Okay. Now, if possible, you could take your finger and gently press on the inside. It kind of gives it a little bit of a dent, but again, that's going to gradually disappear as we're working. It's just to help the head go in a little bit. So don't worry too much if you can't quite get that too much, okay? More of a little idea. It just helps a little bit. So again, as soon as I go back and start pressing down here, that's going to slowly work its way away again. So little press down on the top again. Okay, now what we're going to do now, so once we're at this kind of shape, we won't be able to get too much of a dent on the bottom, but it's not a problem. We're going to do the 4 dots now. So 1, 2, 3, 4 evenly. Now this is a bit where you can pick and choose what you want. Again, I'm going to go for the original, nice red dots. You may want to change this up. If you've already changed the waistcoat colour, you may want to change this as well, okay? So I'm basically going to go 2 on each side. I'm going to go with my red. And the dots, excuse me, are going to be small, 1 centimetre. So off your creator card, I'm going to do a 1 centimetre, but this time a little bit smaller. Not worrying about it getting right close to the edges, but again, as long as all 4 are the same size, you'll get the right effect. Oh, that one's way too big. So all we do with these is gently press them down, flatten them out. Give them a little roll, gently press them down. Again, these clay measurements may be slightly off, so as long as when you press them down you leave them pretty much the same size, you'll get the right effect when you put them on onto the hat. The same again on this one. Okay, so I say try and get it nice and even, so a front, press it down a little bit more, exactly behind it, press it down, and then on either side, same again. Press. So trying to be gentle with your hand so you don't change the shape of it, of the white part too much. But again, it may be that you have to give it a little press and squeeze. Okay, so we're looking for this now. Nice and even all the way around. Again, I could take my thumb a little bit and give it a little press underneath to continue with that dent or domey shape a little if you can. Okay, so we're going to get the head now. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to put it underneath. So the side that it's been set on, again, as you can see with the smile, we turn this over. This is the bit that's going to go into the dome. Again, one of these dots needs to be exactly in the front, and you want to just gently put that on there. Don't press down too much, close the mouth. So again, if you need to tweak on the mouth, give the mouth a little bit of a tidy up, this is the time. Again, it's going to go onto the body now. So just a gentle press, so we should have this effect now. His eyes are dead simple, so we'll get him added onto the body. So now he can start, he's standing up because he's been leaning against the back. Gently get the head on, don't press down too hard. Give it a little gentle press. Try and get him to balance. So we should have this kind of effect now. Again, I'm going to lean him up against the back into the airtight container just while we quickly do his eyes. And, oops. Careful, try and get him into the right position. Okay, and like I say, his eyes are dead simple, just two little black dots. So all you need to do, try and get these the same size. Take a pinch of clay, it's probably smaller than that 0.5. I've gone dead on that 0.5. And all I'm going to do is use my tool to basically cut that down. Okay, so I'm going to cut that in half. If you've gone to the 0.5, I'm going to cut it in half. Put half out of the way, not use that bit. And I'll use this half for his two eyes, okay? So again, cut that in half. To be honest, that may be a little bit big again. So I'm going to throw one more half away. And I'll use this now. So I'm going to cut that in half again. And I'm going to use them as that. I know they're very small now, but I'm going to use them as the eyes. Now what his eyes, the only thing about his eyes are they aren't really round, they're more oval. So all I'm going to do is give it a little roll to the side, turn it into a sausage, a very tiny sausage, and then press down and squish it down a little bit. So rather than it being round, it's a little bit more oval shaped. Okay, that's your eyes done. So now we're going to bring them, bring it all out, get them together nice and gently. And his eyes obviously just go above his mouth. Gently press them on. Try not to be too rough with your other hand. And that's our toad finished. Hopefully you've got a nice finish like that. And I say you can pick and choose. Now I don't think he's going to stand up yet. No. So as I leave him to dry, oh, just about sorted. I will leave him leaning against something just to keep him upright. Okay. So I say, experiment with the colours, change his waistcoat, change the dots, it's completely up to you, okay? Now if you've struggled slightly, if you found the spoons a little bit easier today and you may be ready to move up and try and use the scales to measure the amounts of clay, head over to Clay Creators claycraters.com/shop, where you can place an order for the scales. Same place to order fresh clay. You see, he's crazy right now. I'm going to stand him up. If you need a refill of clay, same place, like I say, claycraters.com/shop to place that order. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us today. Hope you've enjoyed the build, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.